Hi everyone. So lately I've seen lots and lots of questions about baubles, what glitter to use, what varnish to use, how much glitter to use, how long do you leave them to drain. There's been lots of questions, so I'm just going to run through what I do with mine, and we're going to test out a couple different glitters as well. So I use the Joe Sonia Gloss varnish. We're using 80ml baubles, and we're going to use 4 different glitters. So we've got ultra fine, a small chunky mix, another smaller chunky mix, and then a larger chunky mix. And then I also decided to add in a dot mix, which you'll see in a minute. So I just tip a fair bit. I don't measure, I just put a heap in. We're going to drain it and save it. We swirl that around, cover most of it, and then we put it over a cup or something to catch it, and we will let that drain. So we're just going to repeat that for all the baubles. So we're going to repeat that and cover all of them, let them drain. So I'm going to leave mine to drain for 7 minutes. My room temperature is 19 degrees, so if it's warmer you might not need as long, but make sure they've stopped dripping before you move on to the next step. So I've decided to add in a chunky dot mix just to see what happens. But we're going to start with the ultra fine, and we're going to weigh each bauble to see how much glitter is being used. So this will give you a good ballpark figure. If you need to do multiples of one colour, you will know how much to get, but just remember, give or take a little bit depending on if your bauble hasn't been left to dry as long, it's going to use more glitter, or if it's been left to drain for too long, then it will use less glitter, and less glitter will stick to the varnish on the inside. So I just pour in a heap of glitter to start with, because we are going to tip the excess out. So if you have too much glue left on the inside, when you tip out your excess glitter, it could be wet and chunky, and then you won't be able to reuse it again. But if you've let it drain for long enough, then the excess glitter will come out, it'll be perfectly fine, and you'll be able to use that again for your next bauble or your next project. So this ultra fine bauble used 3.5 grams of glitter, and the coverage is perfect. We've tapped out the excess, and that one's great. So now we're going to move on to the next one, which is a small chunky mix. And again, we're just going to make sure the bauble's well drained and just tip the glitter in. I prefer to just shake to coat them, but you can roll the glitter if you want to, it just takes a bit longer. Tap out the excess again. As you'll be able to see with this, the ultra fine has stuck better than the smaller chunky pieces. So this is the problem with some of the chunkies. If you don't have something like the ultra fine to fill in the gaps, you will be left with gaps, which you will see a bit later with the dot mix. So that small chunky mix used 2.9 grams. Now we've moved on to Lullaby. This is one of the new ones. This is another small chunky mix. It's got a bit of a shift in the colour. Super pretty. And this one used 3 grams of glitter exactly. So again, we're going to just save all our glitter, put it back in the bags. We can use that again because our baubles aren't dripping wet. So now we're moving on to a chunky mix. So it is a mix, so it does have some smaller bits in it too. And as you can see, the coverage with this one is really good. When you look from the inside, there is what looks like a few lighter areas, but from the outside it's not noticeable at all. And this one used 3.7 grams of glitter. So now we're going to test out the dot mix. So these are all fairly large dots. We're going to do it the same as all the others. Tip it in, give it a shake, and then tip out the excess. And as you'll be able to see, there are quite a few bits missing. So you can see here there's patches where the glitter hasn't stuck, where the glitter's too big, I guess, for it to fit into those little gaps, which is why having a mix with a smaller glitter in it will help with that, because the smaller glitter will fill in the gaps. You could go back through and put in a smaller glitter. I'm going to do it quickly just to show you what happens. So that dot mix, that was 3.1 grams of glitter. And now we're going to just add in a bit of glass slipper, just because I had that there, and see if it fills in some of those gaps. So I'll just give it a shake again, which probably wasn't the best idea because it has pulled away some more of the dot mix. And as you can tell when I tip it out, a lot of more dots have come off, but it has filled in the gaps. It doesn't look great, but if you pick a colour that is closer to the colour of the glitter you've used to start with, then it won't be too bad. So that ended up using 3.5 grams with the smaller mix in it. So now you just want to leave them upright to dry. Don't forget to tip all your excess varnish back into the bottle before you start glittering. And then that's it. Once they're done, leave them to dry. I usually just leave them overnight and they're ready to go the next day. So hopefully this video helps a bit with picking which glitters to use and how much glitter will be used. So just have fun with it and can't wait to see what you all make.